What's up, everyone? This is the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible. That is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So today is Business Mondays, and I thought what would be better than to share a story based on my experiences, because this is about taking your power back. And I feel the only way you can really learn how to take your power back is if you have gone through an experience that comes to make you feel powerless. And unfortunately, that's not a good place to be in, but it's one of those experiences where you kind of learn in the trenches, if that makes sense. You're going through an experience you've never been through before, and you're in that time, you're in that space. You didn't really know what it took to get out of it until you were in it. And there's this statement that says you never really know how much strength you have until you had no other choice and you had to use it. And that's kind of what that means. So taking your power back, especially as a woman in business, is extremely essential. And even more so if you are someone who is from what they consider a minority group of individuals, such one, women are considered to be minorities. And then two, if you are a woman who is of a certain ethnicity that is other than what they call the majority, then you could also be considered in a space of feeling powerless or not feeling like you have that much strength. But I've gone through a lot of different situations in my life, so I'm not going to share everything. But I wanted to share a couple of scenarios that I've been through, and just how you just have to decide, what, I'm going to take my power back. This is 2021 when I'm filming this video, but in 2011, so 10 years ago, I went through an experience that was pretty scary. I actually woke up one day and I didn't have feeling in my body from the neck down. And if you've ever had an experience where they, say it feels like the blood stopped flowing, or my arm went to sleep, or my leg went to sleep, and it just feels numb, that's pretty much what my entire body felt like from the neck down. And that was extremely scary. And I went to different doctors and none of them knew what was wrong with me. And finally, this one neurologist that I went to, he wanted to do all of these different tests and said, well, I'm not sure what's going on. We did a CT scan, we did an MRI. It's not showing anything conclusive, but I want to do a spinal tap, and we want to do this and we want to do that. And at that point, I felt like they were experimenting. And I'm not speaking negatively about doctors, because doctors are practicing medicine. They don't know everything. They're human beings just like us, and we have the right to take control over the decisions that we make for our own bodies and for our own health. So at that moment, even though I didn't know what was going on with me either, and I was really scared, it was a very scary time. At that moment when the doctor said, he said something that he thought that I had, and I actually just came back with him and I said, I don't believe that I have that. And he was really shocked. He just was like, oh, well, you have the right to feel how you want to feel, but I'm just sharing my opinion. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but I'm letting you know that I don't agree with your opinion. And I had never been through anything like that before, so it wasn't like I had the experience and the knowledge of going through a health scare to say, you know what, I've been through this before, and now I'm tired and I'm fed up, and this is what I'm going to say, and this is how I'm going to react. No, I had never been through anything like that before, but at that very moment, I decided that I was going to take my power back, and I did. When I did that, I left after he showed me the images, and he said, I can show you everything. Do you want me to show you the images? And I said, yeah, I'd like to see them. Not that I knew what I was going to be looking at, but I said, hey, I got to pay for it anyway. Why not look at it? So when he left the room, he slammed the door behind him. I felt like that was extremely disrespectful, but at any rate, that's how he chose to react to the situation, because here I am, this little black chick, telling this neurologist with all of these years of experience and all of this knowledge and everything that he felt like he had in his back pocket to say that I don't agree with your opinion and your supposed diagnosis. So he showed me everything and he said, well, it's up to you. We can go ahead and get those things scheduled. And I said, I'm going to pass. I left. I decided to seek therapy in other places. The first place I sought therapy was in prayer. I went to God for myself because I do believe in the power of God healing the body. I do believe that God has designed the body to heal itself. And I'm not trying to speak any woo crazy, stuff, but I'm just speaking what I believe for myself. So with that, I prayed. I found scriptures in the Bible that talked about prayer and healing and, God healing different people and just different examples of how people were healed in the Bible, a man that was blind and, and all of these different things. And I just started to believe those things for myself. And I started to speak those things over my life. Even though it was scary, even though I didn't really know what was going on, I decided to do those things, okay? And in doing that, I also sought therapy in other places. So I sought therapy through acupuncture. That was something that was scary for me too, because I don't like needles. And the thought of someone like myself going to someone to allow them to put needles throughout different areas of my body, that was a scary thing. But I took my power back. I decided that I wasn't going to allow the fear of the needles to keep me from this treatment that could possibly help to turn things around in my body. And I learned through that experience, through the prayer, through believing God to heal my body. And then also, I do believe that faith without works is dead. So you can believe all you want, but there are steps that you have to take as well to move forward in what you're believing for. So me making the steps towards seeking acupuncture therapy was me walking in faith and walking it out. So in doing that, I learned about stress and how much stress really can deteriorate your body, and literally overnight, things that you have gone through in your life for many years or decades or however long you may have been experiencing levels of stress can cause your body to break down in different ways. And that was an extremely scary experience for me. And although I've gone through more stressful times since then, I have had to make a conscious decision to not allow the stress of life and the stress of other people to wear me down. Because I only have me, my body, my one life. We only get one of those. And I'm not going to allow other people to take that away from me. So I want to experience joy. I want to experience joy in my business. So I decided to take my power back in that situation with regards to my health so that I can move forward in faith and see the prosperity in my business that I have experienced over the years. I started my business in 2008. That experience happened in 2011. But after that period of time, I wasn't able to work for a couple of months. And I went back to work, and again, taking my power back. Even though I didn't feel 100% ready, I made the step forward to start again. And I may not have been as quick with the services that I was able to do before I had taken that fall, shall we say. I made the steps forward, and in that year, in 2011, I made more money in my business in that year than I had made in the years prior, working less time. I was able to do that, and all because I believed enough to do it, and because I took my power back. I didn't allow them to do all these different tests on my body, and that probably would have caused more breakdown and wear and tear on me, and definitely caused me to be out longer from work than I was already at that time. Okay? And then getting back to how stress, you can't allow that in your life, and you have to take your power back from the stressful things and the stressful people that come to cause you to break down. I decided recently in another situation to take my power back when it came to a client. Now, we who are service providers and we own businesses, sometimes people take you for granted and they feel that they can treat you any kind of way just because they're paying for the service that you're providing. I don't feel that it's necessary. I don't need anybody's money because I do believe that God is my source and that He will provide for me. So I don't need people. Clients come and clients go, but I do believe that removing people that are toxic in your space, that are toxic in your life, when you remove those people, it allows for more growth. Okay, so I recently fired a client. I just got tired of dealing with her and I just said, you know what, I don't want to deal with her anymore. So I told my business director to reach out to this client to let her know that I chose to not see her anymore. I did not want to provide services for her anymore, and I was electing to take my power back in that situation and not make her feel that she had the authority and the power over me to treat me any way she wanted to treat me just because I was providing services for her that she was paying for. I don't need that, and none of us do. So take your power back, and the reason you have to do it is because you have to gain control over your own existence and not allow other people to feel that like they have control over you. Okay, even though I have employees in my business, I've never treated anyone like you are my employee, you work for me, you do as I say, I am the authority and the power. Like, no, I've never treated anyone that way, ever. Because I didn't like being treated that way, and I would never want to treat anyone that way either. So I don't have power over them. I have power over my business, and I can elect to remove people or hire them or whatever, and they can even decide to quit. They have that choice as well. But I have decided to take power back over my business. I've let go of people who were working in my business that were not fruitful, that were not bringing anything to the table, or they were just there to take, and they weren't here to give, and they weren't here to help the business to grow as they help themselves to grow at the same time. Like, no, I'm letting you go. I don't need that, and you don't need that. You need to take the power and authority back over yourself, over your business, especially as a woman. And sometimes we as women, we have people that take our kindness as a weakness, and they will trample, if they can, over you with that because they feel that they can treat you any kind of way. And no, we are not to be trampled over. We are not to be taken advantage of. We are not to be stolen from. We are not to be, any of these things that are negative. You should be here to help us to be better as we help you to be better. Because women, we by nature are nurturers. So it is an affront to have anyone to come into your space to try to take advantage of you. We're here to help people to build, and we're here to help people to grow. We're here to help people to be better themselves. Help people to be a better version of themselves, I should say, as we are helping ourselves to be a better version of ourselves. So to have anyone in your space to come in and try to get over on you and take advantage of you, you have to say no, and you have to say the buck stops here. And if you've had it happen, which I'm not saying that I've been immune to it because I've had it happen to me, again, like I said, I'm sharing from my own experience. You get to the point where you say enough is enough, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. So you have to come to the decision that you are going to take your power back. And the reason why it is essential, again, is because there's only one you. You only get one life. You have to be able to enjoy the time that you have. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we want to see the fruits of our labor, but we should be able to enjoy the journey as we are making that happen and as we are seeing that come to fruition. So as I speak to you guys, I'm in one of my new business locations that I'm in the process of getting things set up. I've been working in this location now for several weeks, and I am so thankful. Every time I come into this place, I come into this space with the mindset of just graciousness and gratitude. And I love coming in to do what I do, providing services for the beauty guests that I enjoy working with. I am making the decision whether I am open. I am making the decision whether I am closed. I may have a full day from morning to later evening with clients, and there may be days where I have a couple of clients, or there may be days where I have 0 clients. But you know what? I'm going to excel and exceed in spite of all of that because I decided to take my power back. Okay? Because it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So even though now I have one of the largest spaces for my business that I've ever had, it's all about quality for me. It's not about quantity. It's not about quantity. So I don't need to fill this place up with other people to work in my business to help bring profit and revenue. Those things may come over time as I see fit and as I'm led to do them by my spirit. Affirming and agreeing with that, because I won't allow anyone in my space anymore that comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And I'm not talking about physically killing, but I'm talking about killing my dreams, killing my vibe, and all of those different things. I'm not allowing it anymore. There were times in the past where I would walk into my own business location and there would be an employee that just didn't really want to be there, and I felt like I might have been walking on eggshells being in that space because their energy was so, it brought you down and it was so toxic. And I was like, why am I doing this? So I've taken my power back before in other situations, and I'm choosing to do it again. And so every time you step foot into your day, step into your day with intentions of having control over your life and taking your power back. And there may be situations that seem like they are out of your control, it is out of your league, it is out of what you can handle. There's always somebody that can help you, okay? So don't feel that you're on this journey alone and you have to do it by yourself. Seek people like-minded who can help you in your journey. And if there are situations where maybe you have some back tax debt or some home issues or whatever, there are people out there that are going to be able to assist you if you seek them out, because you shouldn't have to struggle and you shouldn't have to be in these spaces by yourself. You can make it if you have the right people in your space and in your circle, and you don't need a whole lot of people. Actually, you should not have a whole lot of people. It should only be a few. So if it means you have to fire people that you were working with before and hire new people, do that. I'm in the process of working with new accountants that I've worked with before because I have to do things differently for the next level that I'm going to, and maybe even fixing some things that other previous people that I had working with me or working for me didn't do the right way. I've hired a new management assistant and just different things that I'm doing things differently where it regards my staff and pay and anyone that I hire. I actually had someone that reached out to my director on yesterday that quit, and this person was offered an opportunity when they sought a position working in my business, and they decided that they wanted to do something different after they had already been working here for maybe less than a week. And this person sent a message asking to come back to work here, and it's absolutely not going to happen because they've already proven themselves to be someone that's untrustworthy, someone that's not reliable, somebody we can't depend on, and somebody I would never give the time of day to again. And it's not saying that I'm better than this person, but I'm better than those decisions. I'm better than those choices. I'm taking my power back. So you, as a woman in business, and even if you're a guy listening to this, the way you take your power back is just making a decision that you are worthy of all of the great things that you desire to have in your life, and knowing that it's not right for anyone to be in your space to take those opportunities away from you to be able to grow and to prosper, whether it's in finances, whether it is in health, whether it is in peace of mind. Prosperity is more than just money. It's your overall state of being. And why you must do it is, you cannot allow anyone to be in your space that is there to take something away from you that you've worked so hard for. And your life is worth fighting for. So nobody should be in your space, whether it is a client, whether it is a relative even, that is there to make you feel like you're weak, and make you feel like you can't make it, and make you feel like you can't go on. When you get in a space like that, that's when you have to stand flat-footed and make a decision that, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm taking my power back. So you just have to decide that you are worthy of what you're working for, and decide that you're going to do things differently. And that's another thing that you have to do when you take your power back. How do you take your power back? You have to do things differently than what you were doing before. If you are hiring staff in a certain way, then you have to do things differently in order to see things change. I read an article the other day about a fast food chain that said that they're now hiring teenagers that are going to be making upwards of $50,000 a year because of the way that things are right now with the employment field. It's hard to hire, good people. And those who have opted to not return to work for whatever their individual reasons are, not knocking anyone for making their own personal choices and decisions, it's opening up the doors for other people to make bank that they were not going to have had the opportunity to do prior to, because of their age, because of their lack of experience and different things like that. So doing things differently, these company owners or managers or whatever, they're choosing to do things differently. And it's like, okay, before we used to have people in their 40s and 50s or whatever who was in these management positions, but now that the tides are turning and I'm losing business because I don't have enough people to work in my business, instead of closing shop, I'm deciding to take my power back and I'm going to do things differently. So I'm going to look to these other people. I'm going to look to these teenagers. I'm going to look to these Gen Y and Gen Zers or whatever they're called now to work in my businesses, and I'll offer them more opportunities and more money and advantages and access and all of these different things that they didn't have the opportunities to gain before, because not only that, because of their ages, they will probably be with my business a whole lot longer than those other people would have been had they come back anyway. So they have decided to take their power back. You can take your power back. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You can do it right now. When I was experiencing things a few weeks back, and it made me feel like I was giving the power over to an employee over the decision that they were going to make based on them coming back to me with a yes or a no, I told my director, enough is enough. I'm taking my power back. You know what? She can kick rocks and we will bring somebody else on board. And that's what we did. And this other person is going to be so much better because they're already doing better than the other person did. And this person has the motives right, the drive is there, they want to succeed, they have a more mature personality and characteristics about themselves. So again, I decided to take my power back in doing things differently. So in order to take your power back, the one thing you must do is you have to do things differently. And you have to stand firm in that decision to do things differently as well. Don't allow people to bring you back to the past and to the old. And, well, you know what? You used to do things this way. You used to pay this way. You used to be closed on these days. Or you used to be open on these days. Or you used to offer these services. Or whatever those things may be, when people always come back to you with, well, you used to do this. You used to. They're trying to drag you back to the past. And you have to move forward, okay? So, in taking your power back, you have to make a decision, stand flat-footed in it, to do things differently, and don't allow people to bring you back to the past, okay? And the reason you have to do it is because your life literally depends on it. Your life literally depends on it. When I tell you that going through that experience 10 years ago with my body and my health and not being able to work, that was extremely terrible time for me. It was very scary. But I decided to take my power back for my life, because this is my life and I have to live it. And none of those people that I saw in those doctor's offices or anyone else that had their opinions surrounding me and saying, well, girl, I think it's this, and they haven't said you had this, or they haven't said that you had that. It's the power that I decided to take back. And thank God that is a distant memory. It was 10 years ago, and it's something that I don't talk about very often, so I really felt compelled to share that with you all on this Business Monday, just to help give you some tips and strategies in your businesses. So guys, being a business owner, being a beauty business owner to be more exact, and working with people as the minister of beauty, I always find myself in some way, shape, or form having to minister, and a minister is someone that serves. It's not someone that preaches in a church, okay? So that's a misconception. I find myself serving more than the services that I'm providing in my business, but I find myself serving inspiration and serving, just a way to help someone out of the space that they're in that moment in time, versus just doing brow services and skincare services and eyelash services as a licensed esthetician, because that's what I do and I'm truly passionate about that. But more than being passionate about the services that I provide in the beauty field, I'm definitely more passionate about helping people based on the experiences that I have had. So I'm going to be sharing more of these stories on Business Monday, so continue to stay tuned, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and share it with someone that you know, love, and you feel that they need an uplifting word to encourage them in their journey. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So until the next time, I hope you all have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.